start. I just want to go on YouTube, Jeff, to see if we are.
Definitely.
Yep. We're on. Yay!
A lot easier to get on than it was a couple weeks ago.
Well, you know, if they do updates, that's when it gets sassy. Oh,
Everybody's phones
muted.
I've got these on.
I'm off.
Okay. All right, let's get started here. I'll call the village board meeting to order. Everybody please rise for the Pledge of Allegiance and a moment of silence.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. Roll call and open meeting compliance law check.
President Jeff Millies,
Here.
Trustee Jay Pecca,
Here.
Trustee Gary Finch,
Here.
Trustee Dylan Newman will be here any moment, Mr. President. And I also wanted to let you know that you are in full compliance with the open meeting law for the state of Wisconsin.
All right, I'd like to read the announcement for possible closed session. Consideration and possible action on a motion to convene into executive session under Wisconsin State Statute 19.85, parentheses 1, sub parentheses E, deliberating or negotiating the purchasing of public properties, the investment of public funds, or conducting other specific public business. Whenever competitive or bargaining reason requires a closed session, specifically the proposal from Ameritower, included in the closed session will be the members of the village board, administrator, clerk. This will require a roll call vote and no decision will be made in closed session. I'd also like to mention that our attorney, under his comments said the Court of Appeals had kind of changed the rules when deliberating closed session. We have to state more why we're going into closed session, and that is basically with the contract with the Meyer Tower over by the fire station. They're looking to make some changes, and that's what we've been deliberating the whole time in closed session. Are there any public comments? Public comments? Hearing none. Moving on. Everybody okay if we deviate from the schedule here and ask the sheriff if they have anything to report on or comments for us?
I got nothing for you, sir.
All right. Thank you. Stay safe.
Appreciate it.
Thank you, gentlemen.
Have a good night.
Thank you for your service.
Moving on to Jose Guerrero, contesting Vernon invoice numbers 93455 and 94126. You here? Please come forward to the mic here. Why don't you go ahead and give us a brief overview, because a lot of us are not familiar with this.
Sure. So basically I just purchased a property, a duplex over on Skyline Avenue. And so the property has a conditional use clause, I guess. During the purchase, there was a notation on there that I had to appear to a meeting to be able to purchase the property. After some reviewing with your attorneys, or the attorneys of the town of Vernon, they've decided that the appearance was not necessary any longer. So before that, I had to apply, also fill out an application for
Plan Commission.
I'm sorry, what was it?
Plan Commission?
Yeah, yes. And I was aware of those charges, but now after all the reviewing that they've had to do, I received an invoice for $1,284. don't believe, I mean, it seems like this conditional use was kind of a complication or a complicated thing from the beginning that I had nothing to do with. It wasn't really my property back then, and it had to be sorted out. I feel that this should have been sorted out before the property was sold, or when it was originally done, the conditional use, not once I bought it. That's why I feel that the invoice is a little high.
Can I explain? When Jose applied, we got the information that we had at the village hall, which showed that there was a conditional use for a duplex on that property. Subsequent to that, Waukesha County sent some additional paperwork that stipulated that that conditional use that was of the previous owner, the Cabinas, was never actually followed through. So it's a legal non-conforming use, so he wasn't subject to come to the Plan Commission, but he has some substantial legal fees related to the research, and the research really was done by the village. I mean, you went through Jose's bills, his planning bills. Are you disputing any of those, Jose? The planning charges?
Well, yeah, the invoice for $1,284 was 60 cents.
That was all combined with
Yeah, that was all combined.
Right.
Yeah. So is there anything we can work with here? Or?
And Jose, this is the first they're hearing of this, so they really want to hear from you, and a lot of times they go back and do their own research and might come back, but if this is their opportunity, it's the first they've heard of it, but it's their opportunity to ask you questions. But that's from what happened from the town. We thought that he'd have to go to Plan Commission, so he followed the same protocol that anybody that wants to go to the Plan Commission, they have to meet with the planner. So that's where Sean's charges came in, is the meeting with the planner, and then there was a subsequent meeting just to go over what we thought was a conditional use until the county provided some additional information, Jose.
Okay. So that would have been just the application though, right?
No,
the application fee?
The application fee, did you pay that also?
No, that was refunded.
Funded, okay.
Yes, that was refunded.
Yeah, so those smaller fees from Sean, let's see, Sean's got a $29,
Would you guys want to see this?
they have all the bills in front of them, Jose. And then $116, you can see what Sean was researching also.
One Sean, yeah.
And then the legal fees are pretty substantial.
Yeah, it's the time the attorney has into it. I like to talk to the attorney too before making a decision and why he felt
Compelled for that ballot.
that much research on this item. But we just wanted to hear from you, if that could get, until this popped up, we had no idea this took place.
Yeah, we needed that.
So you're gonna talk to the attorney?
I think we'll talk to the attorney here in the next, and bring this back up in the next board meeting, hopefully, and give you some type of decision.
I appreciate it.
Okay.
All right. Anything else?
Welcome to Vernon.
Thank you.
Thank you.
So far, so good.
Thanks, Jose.
We'll know more on the next meeting.
Thank you.
Thank you, guys.
Next item on the agenda, boy, I can't talk tonight, is Legacy Sports Club request to use Vernon Fields for soccer. Steve, you want to come forward?
So let me know when the next meeting is.
Is that here?
April 3rd.
Okay, thank you.
All right, I don't know if you guys know much about Legacy Soccer here. Mike Selecki, our previous park and rec director, kind of worked out an agreement with them to use their fields.
Okay.
And he's basically looking for a longer contract than just verbally yearly agreements. Why don't you tell us more about your program and get the information from
Yeah,
you?
so Legacy Sports with Quantico, so we have 3 different sports. We have baseball, basketball, and soccer.
Soccer started back in 2022, and we now have 8 teams. So the first year we had 2, the second year we had 3, and this year we went to 8. So we're seeing substantial growth. We were in we were in North Prairie, and we were having an issue with baseball starting. So it wasn't really working out well, so we started looking last March. We started talks with Mike Zaleski, and I want to say, was it June or so? We finally had like a hard concrete deal where we were gonna move to the north side here, and then the rugby fields. And right before everything happened, he's like, "Hey, I can put you over at Heather Ridge. You can have fields over there. You'll be all on your own. It'll be really nice." So it's kind of where things started with Vernon. We had games last fall there, so we practiced and had games there last fall. And now this spring, Mike's no longer here, right? So we moved back over here, which was the original plan. We're ecstatic to be over here. That way all the fields are in the same spot. But what we're looking to do is just have a permanent home where we know we have fields when the season starts. So our seasons run from basically June tryouts through to the next year. So when you commit to club soccer, there's a fall season, you'll play a little indoor, and then a spring season, so it's all one commitment. It's not like rec where you sign up for the fall. If you don't want to play in the spring, you don't. You're kind of committed to the team.
Kind of based on the school year then?
So it's based on birth year right now.
Okay.
Next, in 2026, is going back to school year, which will be very nice. So it's basically, it's a year-long commitment. It runs almost with the school year. And we start practices right about August 1st for the fall season, and then we just are starting right now for the spring season. Spring season ends mid-June. And that's where our issue would come in, being on baseball field. So that's why Heather Ridge wasn't quite as good a fit for us, and that's why we're really happy to be back over here. So, we're just looking for a place we can call home, where we kind of know we'll have fields each year. Because if we have a bunch of kids commit, like this year we went from like 36 kids to 100. Let's say next year we have 130 or something like that. It's like, if we didn't have fields all of a sudden, that would be a very tough situation.
I have a question.
Yeah.
Are you paying us for use of?
Yeah, so last year, we worked out it was gonna be $4,000, and then successive years was gonna be $5,000, and that's something that we could revisit. As things move, as time moves on. And with that, Vernon would paint the fields. So what we did is we set up the fields, we did the first painting, and then they'll pick up after that. And it worked really well in the fall. We were really happy. What's his name? Dylan? Yeah, Dylan was doing it. He did a great job. He works with Brett.
Okay, I talked to Brett about it, and from what I understand, they got spring all figured out here.
Mm-hmm.
He's getting all the fields up here, and then the use of the rugby field for some practice.
Yeah.
My concern is, this is our first year with Quantico.
Yep.
And Dave, I don't want to commit to anything long. I just want to see how everything's working out this first year. Hopefully we can get you where you can call this place home. I know you'd like to have a trailer on site to store your equipment. And I know Brett said he's willing to work with that. Well, on a place you can keep it that's out of the way.
Mm-hmm.
So that's not an issue.
And even a small storage shed, like a plastic storage shed that can be moved out at any time.
Or
We're happy with that.
have a way to,
You gotta check the zoning.
well, with a small storage shed too, I don't want to see it blow away in the first storm. So hopefully a way to anchor
Yeah.
it down.
Do you have mobile trailers now for your equipment?
We don't. So right now we were using the shed over at Heather Ridge.
You mean the concession stand?
No, there's a little
Oh,
shed
that's
in
right, that
between the
garage, yeah.
baseball. Yeah, so all, like, the practice dummies and the corner flags and all of that stuff is sitting in there, so, we'll need somewhere to put it, when we move over here. So, if it's a trailer, it can be a trailer.
Yeah, Brett also said up at Heather Ridge where the volleyball court used to be, there's enough room there for 2 small Pee Wee soccer fields if the need arises, if Waponago gets more people or stuff, so we're not limiting ourselves on space at this point in time yet. So,
Is he
Yeah.
asking for Heather Ridge?
no,
No,
Okay.
but those 2 fields were set up over here on the north side. So I think that's why it was brought up, because they moved over to Heather Ridge then, they don't have to be on baseball fields.
well, I was just saying, if Waponago all of a sudden needs more space,
Right.
we do have some room up at Heather Ridge.
So I'm just, because you, Brett and Dave have talked about their new, because last time I talked to Brett, he was under the impression you guys were gonna be at Heather Ridge. It was last week.
No, when I talked to Brett, he
No.
was understanding they were here,
Here,
behind them.
oh, that, where the baby fields are?
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah, we're set up there. All 3 fields are set up. They painted them for us after we painted the initial line, yeah. So expectation is here.
So if your program grows, you would just use additional nights, not additional fields?
No, I mean, if it grows a lot, then we'd have to figure out more fields, right?
Yeah, because our priority is always our rec department, nothing against Legacy, but we wouldn't want our kids to be pushed out of their communities' parks and fields.
Yeah, that's why it's kind of, let's just see how spring goes here, and we'll work on fall, and once we get a routine going, maybe we can talk about a contract in the future or something, but hopefully we can make this all work out for everybody.
And Steve, just so you know, the town and the village have had the Fox River Bandits. They've been here for, geez, I think 6 or 7 years. They've never had a contract, but they always, fill out the normal form. And I know you always give your certificate of insurance just like they do. So I just wanted to know, usually when the village now the Now Village commits, you don't have to worry about a 10-year contract or,
Yeah, and we're not concerned about that. Something like the Bandits, where they kind of know they have a home, that's what we're looking for.
Right.
Right, somewhere, because we have tryouts in June, so really we need fields figured out before that, because otherwise, how do you advertise, hey, we have all these teams, all these age groups, come on, try out, we'll try to build teams at all your different age groups, and then we don't have fields. Right, so really, before June, you'd have to know, hey, this is gonna work for fall, not gonna work for fall.
so you could wait 2 weeks if the board needed more time.
Yes.
So, I mean, we gotta figure out something here by beginning of May.
It's probably worth talking to Waponago and
Yeah.
seeing what their expectation of fields are.
Right.
Yeah, I'm
Because-
not sure if we even know the numbers from Waponago yet, what they're gonna have and
Yeah,
need.
He sent everything over, so I'll copy that to the
Okay.
board so you can see.
Okay, good.
I mean, the programs are much smaller than they were, they probably joined Legacy.
I thought they're using 1 PUD field this spring.
Yeah, they have really small teams this year, really small.
No, I'd like to see our fields used, and
Sure.
hopefully we can make this all work to everybody's satisfaction.
Excellent. Yeah, and I do think Heather Ridge can provide additional flexibility because of all the baseball fields. And the rec soccer doesn't run as long, so when rec soccer is wrapping up, baseball's kicking off typically. Like if you look at Dave's fields, for instance, with Waponago, they're actually shared fields between soccer and baseball. So when his soccer ends, baseball takes over. Right, so if you look at the town park behind their village hall,
Right.
that they operate on the same fields. So really, there is room for substantial growth over at Heather Ridge.
Steve, what is the time frame for your spring and fall? It's like 10 weeks, 12 weeks?
It's a little longer than that. So practices will start in August, and I want to say first week in September. Games would start and they go till basically end of October, maybe a week into November. And then the spring season, we're just starting practice now, and it's April 12th is the first weekend, 12th, 13th. And basically Father's Day weekend is when the season wraps up.
Wow.
And I had sent examples to Mike last year. I can forward that back where the league lays out everything like application date and when you find out what league you're in, preliminary schedules. We're in a reschedule period right now. It ends today, and then our final schedules will be out tomorrow morning.
And you travel also, you don't always play here, don't you go to other?
Right,
Okay.
yeah. So it's southeastern Wisconsin, basically. You know, so it's Grafton and Kenosha and things like that, you know, Colonia's in Franklin, and so all over southeastern Wisconsin.
Did you talk to Brett about the cost? What's the cost to mark the field?
That Brett, I know Brett's got numbers, in fact, he's just ordered, you know, but the problem is you order paint and stuff, it wouldn't just be for soccer because it's, you know, things that we need also.
Okay.
But both Dave and Brett agreed that the dollar amount, that's something that the board decides, they all know that.
Okay.
I think you also put in there, we get a percentage of the advertising on the field or something.
Oh, yeah, that's something that, when we were talking with Mike, we had discussed. So there's the fences up there. So he had said if we sold banners for the fences, that I think the bandits get 10%, so we would do the same thing. So, that's something we'd totally be okay with.
And the bandits always bring those the banners to the board, so board makes sure it's not it's a kid-friendly.
Yeah.
And I'm sure you're gonna do that.
That's, yeah. Yeah, totally. I mean, we can have it mocked up and send it to you so that you can review all of them.
Okay.
That'd be good.
Yeah. All right, I think we need to get a little more information and talk with McQuanago and Brett and work out the agreements here, but I think we can find a way to have everybody satisfied.
That would be amazing.
Steve, did you send in your certificate for this year?
I want to say our renewal, I think it's still good for this year. I think our renewal's
I'll
in August.
Okay, I'll double check that.
I can get that too.
Okay, I just want to make sure because insurance it's a biggie.
Yeah, it's either July or August. We
Okay.
renew every year, so it's good until then, but I'll
Double check?
send it.
Yeah, because I wasn't there when it came in, so if you could resend it, that would be great.
Okay.
Sound good?
All right.
If you have any other questions in the meantime, just send them over and get your responses.
Sounds good.
So, awesome. All right, thank you.
Thanks for coming tonight.
Good night.
Good night.
All right, next, sodium chloride municipal agreement, authorized DPW director to sign the agreement. Brett and I were talking about this the other day, and the way the contract assault works is through the county. You tell them how much you're gonna need for the following year. Then when they get your totals in, then they submit how much salt they're gonna need to get bids on it. So we don't know a price.
Okay.
That's good. This year, for what the county's cost of salt was, to go into, was it Great Lakes then, it was $6 a ton less if we weren't in the contract. So, you know, you think you get the best price with the county because they're placing such a huge order. But it didn't work out in that case this year. So I don't know how you guys feel about splitting the salt, where we don't, get maybe half from two different places, and
We've done this before.
no, we've kind of pretty much always got it through the
County.
county program.
But Brett did discover there were some vendors that had salt cheaper after he had committed to the county, so there was nothing he could do to get out of it.
You gotta commit to the county before you have any pricing.
Okay.
So if you see his little scribbling on and on that sheet, he wanted to order a certain percentage from the county and the other from different vendors that, and the reason we were asking for Brett to sign, because they need an electronic signature tied into the application. Otherwise, Jeff would be the one that would sign it.
So Brett leaves,
He,
back to Jeff signing in.
well, Brett's on vacation, but he's got his computer, so if you give him the authority to sign that
No,
contract.
I'm talking about down the road, let's say in a couple months, Brett leaves. Who takes over the signature? The president?
Well, it's gotta be signed here by Friday, tomorrow?
Yeah, it's got,
Oh, okay, so, all right, so it's gonna be done anyway.
yeah, that's why he took his computer.
Well, if he feels secure, he can handle it. I'm fine with it.
Yeah, he said he thought it was worth, didn't he say that to you, Jeff, that he thought it was worth it?
Yeah, because like this year, we would've saved, if we didn't look, we would've just saved $6,000.
Okay.
And if we split half and half, take a chance, we might see a $3,000 savings, but it could also go the other way and bite us. But I figure, well, at least it's something to try for a few years here and get a track record and see, base our decision on what happens.
If we do 50/50, that hedges us pretty well too. With,
And right now, our salt sheds are full,
Okay.
and so it's, we probably order another 100 or 1,000 ton, I forget.
Okay.
And if we split it 50/50, and then you can do 20% reserves with the county.
Okay.
So I think it's worth taking a little bit of a gamble and
Yeah, I think so too.
hopefully save some money.
Okay.
All right, so we need a motion to approve DPW director to sign the agreement,
I'll make that.
doing a 50/50 split for our salt needs.
I'll make that motion.
Is there a second?
I'll second it.
Any further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor of the motion?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes unanimously. Moving on to countywide damage assessment team. Memorandum of understanding and authorize village president to sign the memorandum of understanding.
It'd be a long document.
And to be perfectly honest, gentlemen, I would, I don't know how the board feels, but I'd like to run this by Alex, as he's our emergency government coordinator. I don't have anything against what the county's trying to do. I think it's very comprehensive. But I would like information, feedback from, if the board doesn't mind sending it over to him. But before I did that, I wanted to see if you guys had any questions regards to what the county's trying to do. This new director is really something.
Is this something new?
Mhm.
And it seems like a pretty good program where if something does happen, we'll be able to pull in equipment,
Right.
whatever we need from all over the place to help with cleanup or whatever the issue is.
And then if there's a memorandum of understanding, the insurances all come together. So if there is a disaster when somebody's coming here, there's extra insurance. But I just wanted you guys to see it and read it, and have Alex do that, and then give his recommendation at the first meeting in April, if that's all right with the board.
That's fine for me.
Yeah, sounds good, because from what I've seen, it sounds like a good program. I'd like to hear
Right?
what the chief says on
Right.
it.
Yeah.
Does that sound good, guys?
Yeah.
So, okay,
So we just need to,
send it over to Alex and get his input.
and put it on the agenda for next meeting.
Sounds good.
All right, Village of Vernon, submittal of logo and artwork. Man, I can't.
I just wanted to tell the board, we only have 26 votes.
Really?
I mean, this was in the newsletter, and, I think it's very nice of the 26. And one of the persons that did was wondering what the board was going to do. I could bring you, the tally of who voted for what, but I didn't know if you wanted to put it in again and ask one more time if they want to vote. That doesn't seem like a very many people.
No, I thought it was maybe 26 votes for that one logo you had. I didn't
Yeah, I
realize that was
was
total.
wondering.
No, there is one predominant one that appears, but with 20, it just seems like so low, doesn't it?
Well, is the one that they voted on the predominant one, but maybe it's got 12 votes or something like that.
I didn't,
Yeah,
you know,
but there's one
Is
for-
there any way we can, have these out, and there's an exit polling saying, please make a mark which logo you like as they're leaving the polls, and try to get public's input that way?
I'd have to check with, I know you can't have anything like that. It would have to be outside.
Outside, okay.
Can't be inside, nothing can be
I
inside.
thought maybe as they were leaving, we
Yeah,
did
it's not a
something.
bad idea, but it has to be a separate thing.
I can't do it because it's,
Yeah.
I'm busy with the election. So, if you find someone that, it would be nice to get more people to vote on it. Don't you think?
Well,
Even if we pass out flyers to have them take it home. Not that they have to vote right then and there, but,
what are we using now?
Yeah, because
Number 3?
yes.
Okay.
26 votes isn't really a good
Right.
input.
So we could have them all ready to have, and people could just take them and, drop them off, send an email. At least you might get, it'd be nice to get a little more input, wouldn't you think so?
Yeah.
So
Or put it again in the next newsletter.
we could do that too, whatever.
Well, you put it in the next newsletter and said, not very many people voted. If you really care about what our
Right.
thing is, why don't you just quickly do a vote? And
Right.
pick out one, and so we get more than 26 votes.
Right.
I would
So-
say that, why don't you just do that in the next newsletter?
Okay, that's
I mean,
what I'll do.
We don't have to have this next
Right,
week.
no, there's no rush, but I'm sure, I know the people that, submitted it, really a nice job for the people
Yeah,
that
they-
submitted it.
We have some talented people.
Right.
We're good at designing it.
Yeah, so if the board concurs, then we'll put that in the next newsletter and explain to the residents that we really would like more people to vote. If they want to just send an email to, they don't have to mail it in, or, they can correspond, via email.
Yeah, I'll vote this time. Only 26 votes.
Yeah, that's not a lot, so,
No.
okay.
Moving on to submit accounts payable and public packets.
Yes, I've been getting open records requests for that. A lot of municipalities they don't put the invoices in, but, I wouldn't have any problem putting that, the check register sheet and then the register sheet that shows the accounts. I think, lends more information to the public and more transparency. And if they want to make an open records request for an invoice, then they have to follow the procedure. But at least they'd see, when we make a motion for $8 million, they know it's the school district. They can see what's
Did you
happening.
just put
That,
this in?
yep,
Okay.
and then the check numbers. Just simple.
That's fine with me if you want to go ahead and do it. yeah.
Yep. I just would like a motion from the board to allow staff
I'll
to
make a
put,
motion.
okay, to put the AP submittals in the packet. That was,
Is there a second?
I'll second it.
Second by trustee Pecca. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor of the motion?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes unanimously. Summer of 2025 newsletter.
oop, there's one more before that, Jeff.
Center Bridge.
Hope Center Bridge Project, conditional notice to proceed.
Right, I wanted to put that in the board packet so you could see things are starting to coming together. And you all know that won't be closed until later in the month. But I did get a phone call from one of FOS engineers saying that there's been a change in one of the documents, so we might have to schedule a Zoom meeting to allow Jeff to sign. I don't have the document. If I had it, I would have, brought it to this meeting, but it's, you guys all know from doing this project how many times we had to have special meetings, at the but for the $1.6 million that they're spending, to have a quick Zoom meeting just to authorize Jeff to do, if the board wouldn't have any problem with that, I'd like to suggest that for what's coming. Is that all right with the board?
Yeah.
So there's really no motion on this portion. I
Okay.
just wanted you to know that we received the notice to proceed.
All right, summer newsletter.
When would you gentlemen like that out?
But what would be the normal
Usually comes out in June,
of June?
I'd say the first week of June.
right?
When do we have to worry about fall park and rec stuff? We don't really put stuff in the newsletter anymore, do we? Just
No, because
Just sign up
it's more advantageous to them. And McGuanago does a fantastic job of mass emails reminder emails, you know, because they send, and then they always send their recreational brochures to everyone. So we don't really have to worry about that anymore, Jeff. The only thing that disappointed me at the last newsletter, we approved it on February 20th. It took like 2 weeks for them to send it over with me. So I really want to talk to LPI because that's ridiculous to wait that long to have a document, like 2 weeks to print, and then it has to go to Eagle for folding and the tabulation for the addresses. So that's the only problem we're having.
Are we doing this 4 times a year?
Yes,
How long is our contract with them for?
I'll check. I mean, it seems like a lot of, I don't know, what do you get?
Well, it was kind of needed for when we had Park and Rec to get the info out to the
Right.
public. Now without that,
Next year might be substantial with all the elections too. There's 4 of them. You know, and who knows? There's a lot more that we can say what's happening planning wise. There's a lot more we could say in the next newsletter.
yeah, because lately we haven't been given
Right.
much other information that's been going on within the village.
Sure.
So we could have it out end of May. Is that okay with the board?
What time?
End of May.
Yeah.
Good.
Sound good to you?
And the reason we have to stick with the 4 times a year is all the sponsor, that's what they're paying for, is the advertisement 4 times a year. So we'll have to stick with that for a while, and I'll check the terms. And does that sound okay?
Yep.
Sounds good. Moving on to correspondence, announcements, and reports. I'll go first, that way you guys can cover anything I missed.
Okay.
First, I'd like to say happy first day of spring. I hope someone tells Mother Nature winter is over. I'm tired of the cold. I'd also like to apologize to our clerk administrator for our last board meeting. Under public comments, a resident addressed the board, and his comments were more of a personal attack on our job performance and reputation. He should have been deemed out of order, which I failed to do. Sorry, Karen.
Oh, that's no problem, Jeff.
So, it's still a learning curve for me. Also, I'd like to encourage anyone who has questions about the referendum to either attend our next informational meeting at the fire station on Wednesday, March 26th at 7 o'clock, or watch the presentation is on YouTube from our February 20th village board meeting, or they can call any one of us and we'll do our best to answer their questions. There's a lot of inaccurate information being spread around, and I'm highly disappointed in the Facebook group that is supposed to be keeping the residents informed. It is in no way associated with or managed by anyone here in the office. The platform is being used to push their agenda, and if you disagree with them or try to correct their misinformation, you are personally attacked or blocked from making comments. Information about candidates should be in the Waukesha Freeman soon. I also suggest you do your own research, such as CCAP, which is the Wisconsin Court System Case Search. Surprising when you can find out a little bit of your own research. Construction has begun on Highway 164 south of Big Bend. The road is now closed. Also, the Department of Transportation had an information meeting last week about construction in 2026 and 2027. Next year, redoing the intersection of Highway 164 and I-43, and construction on I-43. I was surprised to learn about the Diamond Interchange going in. That was something new for me. Also, tomorrow is Rock Your Socks Day to celebrate and raise awareness of Down syndrome. World Down Syndrome Day always takes place on March 21st because it holds significance to individuals with Down syndrome. They have 3 copies of the 21st chromosome instead of 2. So wear your colorful and mismatched socks tomorrow. Also like to add, I've had a few comments about not having brush pickup this spring. I've gotten one email, and the resident was disappointed we're not having it, and they're willing to pay for the service again like we did one year.
Okay.
Had another resident call me expressing their dislike, and I had one individual actually talk to me. And I also had an individual saying he was happy because he never uses the service and felt why should he be paying for it when he's not taking advantage of it. I don't know how we want to handle keeping track of all this information, but if you do have an opinion, it'd be nice to hear from you, at least send the village here an email, so we have a record of it, so we kind of know for future decisions.
And I have a tally for the people that I know this is under, I have a tally of all the people, what they're saying when they come in to vote. I'll share that with you at the next board meeting.
Okay, so should we forward you the emails?
Yes.
We good, okay. And also remember, get out and vote. That is all I have. Jay?
Well, it's that time of the year again where everybody's doing their spring cleaning, and I'd like to say, just be safe using any cutting equipment, you know, especially chainsaws. You know, make sure you have your personal protective equipment like eyeglasses on. And that's about all.
Trustee Finch?
I just want to say that the last election we had here was a heck of a turnout. I'd like to see people come and keep voting like they did then. So whatever they're voting for, I hope it's important to them and they can. So that's it.
Trustee Newman?
I've got nothing.
Okay. Moving on to finances. Accounts payable, March 20th, 2025.
Mr. President, can I do my report?
Oh, sorry. Yes, you may.
I just wanted to remind the electors that, as the president stated, we have voting here that you do not need an appointment. We are here from 8 to 3:30 every day. Next Friday, I'm open till 5 o'clock. On Saturday, this Saturday, I'll be open from 8 till noon. And if those hours do not work for you, that's when you would call me to make an appointment, which I have met other people because of the time frames, they can't make it. So that when it says by appointment, that's only for people that can't make it as the designated time we have for voting. I want to tell the board too, I lost my piece. Oh, we have 986 people that have voted so far. 601 were ballots that we mailed. And the last 2 days, we had 385 people here voting. So it's busy. So it's really busy. Wanted to thank Nancy Dean. I'm going to keep these out at the election. Nancy Dean did a significant job on all her research on Heaven City. It's really, and I want to thank her for sending that. Also, Mr. President, should we announce that there is an opening on Plan Commission? Commissioner Dan Nowak has resigned, not for any, he's done it for so many years and just feels it'd be nice to get new blood for Plan Commission. So, and then the next, not the next agenda, but the second meeting in April, you'll see all the reappointments you'll need to make for different committees. And that's, when I did put, just so you know, I know in the packet you saw it, I just wanted to, I'm not going to go through it, but when somebody makes those slanderous comments under public comments and you can't respond and makes those horrible comments, that's why I put all that stuff in the packet.
Sure. I thought it was good.
Right, and that's all I have, Mr. President, and board members.
I would like to say in those comments, we shouldn't address the individual, but if you'd like to address it under this section of your reports,
Sure.
you could answer those questions at that time.
Right, yep.
All right, now moving on to finances. There were a couple little mistakes I found. The first one was the check to Sam's Club. We have $294 listed, and the receipt shows $294.28.
Okay.
Also, the Conley Media check. It's listed as $197, and the receipt shows $197.20. These are just little minor. And also on the Security and Financial Group, the life insurance payment, I couldn't figure out how they got that total. It looked like it should be penny less, $126.53. Or something.
And that check, if the board and president wouldn't mind, you know, that one you should let go through, even if it's off by a penny, because they'll pick it up on the next invoice.
Oh, okay.
But the other two, those should be voided. I know it's only pennies, but it doesn't cost much to redo a check, and you
Yeah.
want to have it the correct amount. Boy, that sounds right.
Because as long as we're not spending more to correct the check than what the amount is.
Right, it's not,
28 cents and 5 cents will be.
Yeah. Those were the only issues I had. Anybody else have any comments or questions?
I'll make a motion to approve the accounts payable for March 20th, 2025, with the noted corrections of 28 cents and 20 cents.
I'll second. Oh, Joe, go ahead.
Doesn't matter.
All right, so the previous total was $54,357.23 with a 20-cent correction and a 28-cent correction, I believe it was.
yes.
Okay. Hearing no further, any further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor of the motion?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes unanimously. Rescind approval of accounts payable motion from $116,645.26 to $97,301.51. That was from last board meeting where we went through those APs at three different times, and those checks did not get, that were voided, did not get taken off the total, correct?
Yes, this software is,
Software?
oh, well, no, this isn't software, but, I mean, I've never seen where, I mean, if you in other software, if you have a void, that picks up on your, you have to run all these different reports, but I can tell you, and I went through this with Terry, the actual amount is $97,301.51. That's why we would like you to rescind the motion of approval from $116,645 to $97,301.51, because that is the correct amounts for APs for March 6, 2020.
Can I do that all in one motion?
Yep.
I will make a motion to rescind the approval of the accounts payable at 116,645.26 and approve $97,301.51.
Is there a second?
I'll second it.
Any further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor of the motion?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes unanimously. Manual checks.
There are none, Mr. President?
The treasurer's report and the reconciled bank statements of February were in the packet. There's a lot of information there. Any questions, comments?
Aren't you glad we're on track, guys?
Yeah. Without a doubt.
Need a motion to approve those?
No. Both D and E are for board members to, have in their packets and, look through things. We're in the process, just so the board knows, in the process of changing the old format of Workhorse to putting things where they should be. So we're updating that also.
Okay, village board minutes from March 6th of 2025.
I had an error on March 6th. I made a motion to approve the accounts payable in the $116,645.26, but it came up as Finch Newman, Trustee Finch Newman. It's just no big deal with it.
We'll get that corrected, Trustee Finch and Trustee Newman.
Yeah.
I know you guys are close, but not that close.
That's right.
Any other comments or corrections? Hearing none, is there a motion to approve the minutes from March 6th with that one correction?
I'll make the motion to approve March 6th, 2025.
Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Trustee Newman. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor of the motion?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes unanimously. Then we have the minutes from March 13th, which was at the fire station. I'll make a motion to approve those minutes. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Trustee Newman. Any further discussion, comments? Hearing none, all in favor of the motion?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes unanimously. All right, we have announcements of the next village meeting dates. April 3rd and 17th are village board meetings at 6 p.m. April 9th will be village board meeting and plan commission. Also, we have on March 19th at 7 o'clock.
Oh, that's passed.
Or, yeah,
Just the
March-
26th.
March 26th,
Right, I'm sorry.
at the Vernon Fire Station at 7 o'clock. We'll be discussing the referendum for the tax levy to increase by $700,000. Like I said too, if you're unable to attend the meeting, you can see it on YouTube back from the date of February board meeting. Or also, please call one of us. Spring brush drop off is the month of May. Vernon residents can drop off brush Monday through Friday from 7:30 to 3 p.m. and Saturdays from 8 a.m. till noon. There's no drop off on Memorial Day weekend, May 24th through 26th, and the village will reopen at 7 a.m. on May 27th. All right, notice to go into closed session as printed in item 4. That is with the AmeriTower contract that I brought up. Is there a motion? We'll need roll call vote. Is there a motion to go into closed session?
I'll make that motion.
Is there a second?
I'll second it.
President Jeff Millies,
Yes.
trustee, Chief Becca,
Yeah.
trustee Gary Finch,
Yes.
trustee Dylan Newman.
Yes.
Mr. President, I'll note for the record that your village board approved to go into closed session at a voice vote unanimously.
All right, we are now in closed session.